Prevention Week, and we're going to be going into our first Santa Win event this week. It's important to make sure that you have your home protected from wildfires, and for that matter, any kind of fire. And here to tell us some tips is Charles Anacker from the Armstrong Garden Center. He's a California certified horticulturist. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm so excited that you're here. I love everything that you brought. So we were talking earlier, and we're saying how important. Tell us about how important it is to make sure that your home is safe from wildfires.
Well, you want to have a safe home. What you want to do is you want to remove any kind of litter or clutter, and you want to remove things like this straw bale from right in front of your house. You don't want that next to your front door because a spark can set that off. That's called fuel. And see these beautiful grasses over here, if you have those beyond that 30 foot, you can have areas of those, but you don't want a mass of those because that's flammable also. Much better to plant these salvias, which are perennial plants that have beautiful flowers. They attract hummingbirds. They come in lots of colors. There's royal blue, there's purple, there's white, there's yellow, there's red. There's these are called these attract lots of hummingbirds and butterflies. So this is what you want. If you want to use a succulent, look at this one. It doesn't really look like the typical succulent. It's called angel wings. It's beautiful, but feel how thick the leaves are. It holds a lot of moisture, so that can give you some color and contrast to a green landscape.
So not just succulents, but also native plants.
Oh yeah, native plants.
These are talking about, which are more tolerant to drought.
They're more tolerant. They evolved in the state. They're with the climate. So when it's dry, they stay alive. They reduce the water. All you want to do with natives is just trim them up and keep them clean, keep any litter from the ground, but they don't drop a lot of leaves. And this is another native. This is beautiful. It's called sea lavender, and it's got these white and purple clouds floating over this green. But again, the thick foliage is here. And then we have something, ironically, this is called a fire stick. Now, it's a succulent, it's full of water. You don't want to get this on your skin because it can be irritating, but it won't burn like other things. This is something called firecrackers over here, a Texas firecracker, and this is a Russian plant. And you have the word fire in there, but again, this is a plant that won't burn. It's a perennial.
They're non-flammable.
They're not. They flammable. Anything burns if it gets hot enough, but they won't catch a fire right away because they have a high water content and they don't have any resinous oils. What you don't want next to your house is you don't want pine trees right next to your house. They have lots of oils, and that's flammable. So you want to keep those out in the zone, like 30 feet from your house. So we have
and other trees too. You were telling me earlier, Charles, that some pine trees are not good, conifers, because those have extra oils and they're more flammable.
Exactly, and the main thing is what you want to trim your trees so the branches are 6 to 8 foot, 10 foot off the ground. Because if you have low branches that are brown, a fire can start. It's called a fire ladder. So you want to remove that fire ladder because if you do that, a fire can go through, but it won't catch anything. It won't have any fuel. So cleaning up your yard, making sure you don't have any stack wood, firewood around your house, making sure that you have that's called the clean and green zone. You want everything cleaned up, you want everything well watered, so that if you get an ember, if there's a fire, it won't catch anything on fire. So that the main thing is good maintenance, beautiful plants that attract hummingbirds and butterflies so that you have an attractive garden, but you also want to have a garden that's not going to burn your house.
Yeah, and you were mentioning that a green garden is not only beautiful, but a green garden is also a safe garden.
It's a
So
safe
it's important to have that 100 feet defensible space. The trees have to be trimmed.
And they shouldn't be touching the branches. They should have separation. So if you have trees where the branches are touching, then you want to have those trees either separated. You might want to remove trees because a lot of times what we do is we buy trees when they're small, we plant them too close together. That's not healthy for the tree. So as they grow up, you might have to take out trees so that you have space, because space between the trees is safety for you.
Another point to mention that's important, the fire breaks that you can actually have around your garden in the front or the back.
Exactly. Well, this is
a fire break. Talk a little bit about the fire break.
This is a fire break. This is a patio. And so the fire is not going to, there's nothing to burn here. Now, if you wanted to have, if this were made out of mulch, then that's flammable, but because it's a paved area, it's not. You could also do the same thing with pea gravel, with stones of any kind, and you would have a nice safe area. So you can have around your house, it's a great place for patios, for sitting areas, for plants and pots and everything. And then further away, like 5 feet away from your house, then you can have your shrubs, but you don't want large masses. You want groups of shrubs that have the same water requirements so you can keep them healthy and moist, but you don't want them touching each other so the fire it's like a fuse working its way to your house. You want to have that break, the spaces between the plants.
Great. And then one more thing, Charles, perennials. So anything that you want to plant perennials right now, it's a good time to plant.
It's a great
Get them
time.
Ready so that when we get the rains during the winter, it'll be perfect.
Absolutely, because all plants, even if they're drought tolerant, they need to be well watered the first season. But we're coming up in November, we're going to get well watered. And that way you're not paying for the water. The plant's going to be happy because it's going to be deep. They're going to grow deep roots, and then the next season they won't need as much water.
So this is the time.
This is the
Perennials,
perfect time.
yes.
Sure.
And of course, succulents, native plants, roses, all of those are good right now.
Roses are beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah,
and they're not as flammable.
They're not flammable.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you so much. We're going to take a quick
pleasure.
break.
Thank you.
Charles, you got to come back. You have so much knowledge. Quick break, and we're going to be right back with more on Good Morning San Diego.